10 minutes from United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz will testify about the dragging incident. Come on in, please, Congressman Thomas Massie. He's a Republican from Kentucky. He's on the Transportation Committee, and he will be asking questions today. Congressman, at the end of the day, what do you want United Airlines to do and other airlines to do about this overbooking situation?
Well, look, the way this passenger was treated, particularly from Kentucky, was egregious. But I have faith in the free market and capitalism when we have competition. And United has already responded with a lot of good ideas. For instance, the government requirement for passengers to be compensated was maximum of $1,350. That's $1,350. United's already said they'll offer up to $10,000 to get people to voluntarily give up their seats. It's changes like that that I think they're making that are good business sense.
But it will also be political theater. It will give politicians, I'm not being pejorative here, but it will give politicians their moment on the camera to vent on behalf of the flying public and have a go at Oscar Munoz. That's another function of these hearings, isn't it?
Yes. In fact, I advise students who are studying political science to switch their majors to theater if they want to get into government, but because we have a lot of that in the committees. But look, government has a monopoly on force. It's the one thing that government can do that big business can't. In fact, that passenger was dragged off the plane with force using government. We shouldn't drag a CEO around using the force of Congress. Now, Congress does have a role to play here, and there's a federal nexus. Usually, states take care of consumers and make sure there's not fraud or unfair practices. But when you travel on an airplane, in one day, you may go to 3 or 4 different states. So we do need some uniform rules at the federal level.
But you don't want new rules, do you?
I don't know that we need new rules here. Now, a few years ago, it was clear that the airlines were abusing passengers by keeping them on the tarmac for up to 10 hours. And so that was the genesis for sort of the Passengers' Bill of Rights that came about from that. And those were appropriate measures. What we need to find out today in this hearing is this a systemic issue? Is this prevalent in all airlines? And does Congress need to act? Because I would rather we don't overreact.
Yeah. The gentleman who was dragged, he has settled with United. Have you had any contact with him or his lawyer? Because you're from Kentucky, he's from Kentucky. You're going to be asking questions today. Any contact with his lawyer or the legal people?
I haven't talked to his legal people, and I haven't talked to this doctor, but I have heard good things about him. In fact, I just came from a meeting with constituents, and somebody said they had a relative that this doctor operated on a Sunday and may have saved his life, and nobody else would show up on a Sunday to do the operation. So, you know, I think it's important that we do keep in mind that this passenger probably had a legitimate reason to want to get to his destination quicker.
Okay.
But I think the solution is not more government here, and I think United has responded appropriately.
They have so far, that is true. They've taken their steps. Thomas Massie, Republican, Kentucky, will be watching you a little later on this morning, and thanks for joining us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stuart.